Hello everybody, welcome back to Friendship Shaving. If you've not joined me before, my name's Mark. It's good to see you here. Now I've got a little bit of a razor blade review this week. I've got an Astra SP blade, and in fact I've got two Astra SP blades, both with different packets, and one is the old blade and one is the new blade. So I thought I would try that out today. The brush I'm going to be using is my little RazoRock synthetic brush, which I like very much. It fits my hand very nicely, and it is a somewhat floppy brush, and I like that in a synthetic. The razor was going to be, normally when I do a razor blade review, I use my British Gillette Flare Tip Super Speed, but I'm going to be using my Marvel today, and this was prompted by a query by Sean on the Facebook group, and said I'd use the Marvel, which I like very much. It's a very nice razor indeed for me. So we'll pop that there, and the soap today is going to be a Cold River Soapworks, and it's going to be their Citrus Maximus. It is their Glide formulation, and that is orange, lime, orange, lime and grapefruit. It's a very soft soap, so we'll get going with that in a moment. Excuse me, I've got a cup of tea here. I don't normally drink tea when I shave, but it was made for me not long ago and I'm really thirsty, so bear with me a moment, please. Oh. I hope I don't get shaving soap in my cup. Now, I've had these Astra blades for quite a little while now, and I must admit to you that I don't like Astra blades. I've always found them to be really rough on my skin, particularly on the first pass. But I thought because I had an old packet and the newer packet that I'd try them out and see if there was any difference between the two. Now I've already opened the blade, and this will be the second time of use for each blade. So I've already cheated, really. I know the results. But this is the old blade, and we're going to pop that in first, and I'm going to shave half my face with this blade, and now I'll swap it out for the new one and continue the shave with the new blade. There we are, I've got that in nicely, and I'm just going to put some water on my face. And while I'm getting my brush wet, I just want to talk about a video that was put out a little while ago by Chris from iAMCBD. One of his subscribers asked him to recommend some synthetic brushes that had a little bit of scrub, and in doing that he started his video with some brushes that were the opposite to that, the kind of brushes that I like. So I found that very useful, and I will put the link in the description to this video. It was a good video, and I am looking over the next few months to get some different synthetic brushes, because really I only have about 4 or 5 brushes that I like to use all the time. So I'd really like some good synthetics. I do like them with a higher loft. They've got to be a soft tip, and they nearly all are nowadays, but also I guess if you were talking about a natural hairbrush, I like them to be a little bit floppy, so a higher loft. Now this soap is a very soft soap, but I need to add just a drop of water to the brush to get a proper load. I think that should be plenty, to be honest with you. Let's hold it back there. It's we'll just put the lid on that for the moment. Gonna have a mouthful of tea. Oh, please excuse me, I'm really thirsty this evening. There you can see this brush is just really, really nice for me. It's an old Plissoft type knot. It's beautiful. And I think by the time I add water to this, we're going to have a really good lather. I hope you've had a good week this week. I've been much better, thank you. I'm really recovered now from my bout of illness. Now, apparently this soap is specially formulated to be slick. I have a lemon Cold River Soapworks soap. It is their select version, and that is a lovely soap. I must say that is one of my favourites. There we are, I think that will do. And we'll start with this Astra blade. SP Super Platinum. Now, they are made in Russia by Procter & Gamble, and I must admit this is the old one. This is the one I never got on with. And I can tell you now, it's not as bad as I remember it, and it's not just that it's a little bit better, it's a lot different. But I suppose the skin is a living organism, and it's possible that your skin changes over time. I expect somebody with dry skin will have an entirely different shave to somebody with oily skin, or somebody who works outside maybe will maybe have a different shave to somebody that works inside. So this is definitely a big change for me. I really couldn't abide these blades. I've forgotten, haven't I? I've forgotten to change over, so I'm going to do that now. I was going to do half and half. Completely forgot. Now I've got the other blade here, and you can see perhaps that it is different. If I get the light right, it's not there. Can you see there's some writing? There we are. So they've just put the writing on. It says exactly the same, Astra Super Platinum, but it's written in a sort of silver upon the stainless steel blade, so it doesn't show up. The blade is still made in Russia, and let me tell you, that this one just feels slightly sharper. But in terms of feeling rough on the skin, it doesn't. They feel about the same. And I strongly suspect that they are the same blade. And that was a very that was a very easy first pass. Let me tell you that the Astra blades sit right in the middle, really, between a feather blade, which is a sharp blade at the top end of the scale, and perhaps a Derby, which is down the bottom end of the scale. So the Astra SPs are quite firmly in the middle. They would be a little sharper on the second use, which I expected today. Now, I know a lot of people really like these blades, and I have never got on with them. I did expect the new blade to be entirely different from the old, so this has been quite a revelation to me. I don't know if you remember, but the same thing happened to me with the Gillette Platinum, also made at the same factory, I believe. And I never liked that blade. It was rough on my skin, just the same. And lo and behold, it's now quite a nice blade for me. Now, I would say with both of them that they remain not my favourite blades. There are other blades that I prefer. But they're giving me a very pleasant shave, and particularly on the second and third pass, where they seem to be super smooth. I'm quite interested. I don't know if you're able to tell me what the difference is between a Gillette Platinum or a platinum blade. It doesn't have to be Gillette, and a super platinum blade. One assumes that there is something that is done to the blade to make it a difference. I don't know if you remember the old Gillette blue blades. but I believe that was another blade that became a super blue blade. In America, in the UK it was called the Blue Extra. So one assumes that something was done to the blade in the process of making it to change it from a normal blade to a super. Now this is really nice. And let me talk about this razor, because I haven't used this for a little while. It's made by Fine Accoutrements. It is 87 millimeters high, so it is quite a short razor, as you can see. It's got a nice wide handle to it, and it's 93 grams, so in actual fact it is a reasonably heavy razor. Now it says on the packet that it is an engineering marvel and it is a comfortable and efficient shave, and I agree with both of these things. Don't be fooled by the look of it. It has rather a large, let's let the light calm down a bit, it's got rather a large blade gap there, but it's engineered so that it sits perfectly against your skin with this sort of flat head, and in some way that negates the harshness of that large blade gap. I really find it a very nice, very comfortable shave. And despite that large blade gap, it is a mild to medium razor. Some people don't like the fact that it is made with a zinc alloy. That doesn't bother me. There is the thought that the zinc alloy is obviously weaker than a stainless steel. So if you dropped it and it bounced on the head, it might break that centre post. But I don't think I've ever dropped one of my razors, and I think this is good value at $40 on the Fine Accoutrements website, and I know you can buy it cheaper than that. So for me, it's a very nice razor. Oh, I'm dying to finish off my tea, but I better not. I better just finish this shave first. I have done a shave and a review with a Marvel razor before, so I will find the link if I'm able and pop that in the description so you can check that out if you wish. You can hear that it's taking the hair right off, and it is effective. is just the slightest bit of blade sticking out the end there, very, very little bit. And really the only place that large blade gap might catch you is around the corners of your mouth, I suppose, where you may be not laying the razor flat against your skin. It hasn't caught me like that, but it was just a thought. And there we are, 3 passes. So in the end I didn't swap out my razor blade anymore because I'm sure they're an identical blade, just with a slightly different packaging for some reason. You might be able to prove me wrong, but there we are, that is my thought on the Astra SP. Now I've got a nice bit of residual slickness on that soap, but to be honest I don't feel that it's particularly any slicker than the Select, but I know that they would have tested that soap down at the Cold River Soap Works, and you know, perhaps that's just my interpretation on this shave and my faulty memory. Certainly it's a nice soap though. But I think in terms of slickness, there are maybe better ones out there. But as I said, it is a good soap. Now, I can feel that I've had a very close shave, although I said it was comfortable and it is efficient. Now I'm just going to put on, let me reach down for it, so I'm going to put on something different this evening than my usual Nivea. I'm going to put on my Lucky Tiger. So this is just a conditioning lotion, a tonic if you like, aftershave and face tonic. If you shaved on a morning and you had a citrus soap, this is a nice orange lemon type scent. It's a lovely product and it's a good thing you could use on a morning, then you could use a citrusy eau de toilette or eau de cologne, something like that. Now there we go, and I'll tell you what, I've had a really excellent shave. I've just missed the tiniest bit there. I'm just going to get it. That's it. There we are, that's my shave. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for joining me. If you have any recommendations, let me just dab that, put a little bit too much on. If you have any recommendations for synthetic brushes that I might like, I'd really love to hear them. If you can provide me with a name or a link to a site, that would be great. I am quite interested to learn more about the recent spate of brushes from Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements in the style of those vintage brushes, but as I say, I don't like a scrubby brush. Let me just show you that This is my Frank Shaving G4 brush, and it has the same loft as my RazoRock brush. Now, this is a nice brush from Yaki, but maybe if I hold them up you can see that it's just a slight difference in the loft, and not so much when it's wet, but when it's dry I can really feel that the centre of that brush has a little bit of backbone there, and before it moves out of the way you have to push quite hard. Now when it's wet it's a different story, but if that was set just a couple of millimetres higher, although I like this brush, I think it would transform that from being a good brush to a really great brush. For me, you know, we all have our different likenesses. Of course, that's part of the enjoyment of shaving. So there we are. That's it for me for another week. You take care of yourselves now. Let's be careful out there. All the best. Bye bye.